Hi there, Mind Valley community. My name is Harv Eker, and I'm the author of the New York Times #1 bestseller, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Vishen let me know that there were a lot of people asking about my background and why, especially why I teach wealth and financial freedom. And in fact, there's a whole story behind that. So I'd like to just share a little bit behind that, and I think it's kind of interesting and might give you a little bit of insight, and maybe there's some lessons for yourself. My parents came from Europe. They had no money whatsoever. When I grew up, all my friends wanted to be doctors and lawyers and firemen and baseball players, and I just wanted to be a millionaire. I didn't even know why, but it was ingrained in me. And so I left college actually at the end of first year because it wasn't going fast enough and I wasn't rich enough yet. After that, I proceeded to struggle big time. I mean, I thought I would get rich literally in a couple of years because I don't know why, but a lot of us do. And listen to this, I had 14 different jobs and 12 different businesses in only 10 years. I tried everything and nothing worked for me. It worked for my friends, it worked for my associates, it didn't work for me. And I was doing all of this, everything. I was taking all the seminars, reading all the books, in those days listening to all the tapes, and still I was broke. There were many, 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 many nights, far more nights than I care to remember, that I literally had to choose between putting $5 of gas in my car and eating dinner that night. And a lot of times I had to choose the car. Things were not working for me whatsoever. I had to move back home, and I lived in my parents' basement. And all I can tell you, it was nothing short of, I guess the word is embarrassing. I had very low self-esteem because of that at the time, and I was a completely different person than when I started, when I was really gung-ho and I thought I could make it. It just wasn't working for me. As the universe put things together, I was, as I said, at my parents' house. I met a friend of my father's who was a very, very wealthy man, and he stopped me in the hallway and he said, Harv, your father tells me that you're a bum. So I wasn't very happy about that. But he said, can I give you any advice? I go, well, sure, whatever. And he said, listen, if you're not doing as well as you'd like to be doing, all that means is there's something you don't know. And being a brash young man at the time, I thought I knew everything, but I guess I didn't. And he says, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be rich. I want to make a lot of money. And he says, well, that's not the world's best goal, but how do you want to do it? And I said, I want to do it in business because I'm not going to be a doctor or a lawyer, and I'm unemployable, unfortunately or fortunately. I can't deal with jobs really well, so I've got to do it in business. He says, well, if you're gonna do it in business, one thing you need to know is that most rich business people think and do the same things. And most people who are successful in anything think and do it the same way pretty well. And I said, it makes sense. So I wasn't making any money anyways. And I spent the next 6 months studying rich business people. And I learned some very, very critical principles around that. And, one of the things that had happened was that I still had no money whatsoever. And I remember before getting further involved into any new ventures, I was so scared to fail again. I remember sitting in the back of my parents' house, and I was on a lounge chair, and I was looking up to the heavens, and for some reason I just began to cry. I mean, I don't cry a lot, but tears were just rolling down my face, and I was just so frustrated, and I was so scared, like, what if I fail again? I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but when you start something, you're so excited, and then when it doesn't work, it's like, oh, not again, and pretty soon it just takes a toll on you, doesn't it? And so that's what happened for me. I looked up to the heavens and I was crying, and I said, universe or God or whatever is up there, I promise you that if somehow I make it, I will help other people do the same way that I did. I mean, I just can't handle another failure. And so I used the principles that I learned, and I opened one of the first retail fitness stores in the world. And I started that with $2,000 that I borrowed on my Visa card because, again, I had no money. And literally a year and a half later, I was a millionaire. And I learned several critical lessons, key lessons that I didn't know before. I thought I knew, but I didn't know. Because everything I did before didn't work, and everything I did then and now seems to work really, really well. And so, that's why I teach what I teach, because I made a promise to the big guy, and I said, listen, if I make it, I promise I'll help other people do the same. And listen, I'm going to be right up front with you. A lot of people want to do well financially. A lot of people want to have balance in their lives. A lot of people are spiritually bent, which I think is a very good thing. And I can tell you about that when you listen to my upcoming masterclass with Vision, how I got involved in spirituality. But we tend to think that it's one or the other. It's like, oh, if I'm spiritual and my leanings are towards that, then money is not an important thing. Well, how's that working? That doesn't seem to work out really well in the real world either, does it? Or we go for money and then spirituality just seems to fall away, and so does everything else. That doesn't work either. So the big secret is, how do you put this all together? And I, thank goodness, thank the universe that I was able to find an answer that's not only worked for me, but literally I have over 2 million students all around the world now, and it seems to work for them too. And I'd love for you to find out the secrets that I found out and be able to help you with that. And it really, really is a life changer. So one thing for sure I learned is that who you learn from makes a difference. There's a lot of teachers out there. There's a lot of wonderful teachers and coaches. At the same time, I'm always just going to go with the same example that I've always used, which is, if you were going to climb Mount Everest, and your life is at stake at that, and would you be going with someone who's never been to Mount Everest before? More has come down from Mount Everest after reaching the top, and more importantly than that, has taught and brought other people to go up and brought them down safely. I wouldn't. And many people get stuck in this idea of, I'll take this and I'll take that webinar and this seminar and this, and they're involved with people who aren't even financially successful themselves. So I would be careful about that one. And the second thing is that when I was young, I remember sitting at the dinner table and my parents were asking me, Harv, what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? And I was already in the teens at that point in time. And I said, well, I'm not sure yet, but I know that I want to do what I love to do. I'm going to find what I love to do, and I'm going to make money doing that. And you know what they said to me? They said, you're living in Disneyland. It doesn't work like that in the real world. You can't just do what you love to do and do well with it. You have to listen closely, Harv. This is what they said. You have to spend 6 days at work, 6 days a week working for money. And then on Sundays, you can enjoy your life. You have to put bread on the table. You have to be successful. You can't be being a Pollyanna here. And for some reason, that was one of the things they said to me that just did not register. I said, I cannot believe that that's what life is all about. There's no way. And so I stuck to my guns, and literally, here's what happened. For the first of those 10 years that I was struggling, for the first 9.5 years of that, I was doing what they told me to do. I was trying to work for money, make money, and forget about the vehicle and what I enjoyed doing, forget about the investment, and I was broke. Then finally I made a decision. That's it. I'm broke anyways. I've got nothing to do. I got nowhere more down to go. So I said, I'm just going to do what I enjoy doing. And that's why I was really, heavy duty into fitness myself. I was a big runner. I was even helping people on the side. Hey, do this, do that, work out. And literally I just said, I'm just going to get in the fitness industry, fitness business. I enjoy it. And sure enough, I became a millionaire using these principles. So I invite you to join myself and Vision on our masterclass. I would say that I think you're going to not only enjoy it, but you're going to get a lot out of it. But I after 2 million students, I have to be more confident than to say I think. Actually, I know that if you use what we teach you on this masterclass, if you use this, you will get the secret. You will have the secret, the unlocking of that vault, the door that actually shows you exactly how do you put it all together. How do you put together money and spirituality and health and relationships and all of it? But the big thing we're going to talk about is money and spirituality, because I think spirituality for me, it's one of the most important parts of my life, if not the most important part. But I'm also, and I just be blunt, extremely, extremely, extremely wealthy financially. And I've been able to put that together, and that's been my greatest blessing. So I look forward to seeing you on the masterclass. Bless you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.